Always been there. It's been there all along. It's just been waiting for the science to catch up with it.
It's hard to imagine somebody taking another person's life and no more than what they got.
It was one of the most infamous crimes ever committed in East Texas. 5 people kidnapped from a Kilgore KFC, then shot to death. Now, 35 years later, one of the men convicted could soon be set free.
Here's the deal. A parole board will decide whether Romeo Pinkerton stays behind bars or returns to the streets. So tonight, we begin with an in-depth look at the case.
KETK's Trent Bennett takes us back to 1983 for part 1 of our special report, the KFC Massacre.
This was a horrible, horrible situation.
You know, all kind of images or thoughts or ideas start going through your mind as to well, you know, what's going on here? What has happened? Why has this happened?
It's just a slaughter. That's all it was.
There's probably 100 stories within this one story, you know.
It's a late September evening in Kilgore, Texas, and on a Friday night, that means only one thing: high school football.
It was running wild. It was. It had a lot of activity going on.
Which meant a busy night ahead for the 3 people clocked in at the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
We had record sales. There was a lot of activity and a lot of hype around the football season, and you know, people are pumped.
Well, they had a full staff of employees there. There was Mary Tyler, we had Opie Hughes, and Joey Johnson.
With most of the town up the road rooting on the team, that left Kilgore subject to something sinister just around closing time.
Which was about 10 minutes after 10 when they started cleaning up. Joey Johnson was carrying the trash out the back door.
Waiting for Johnson to re-enter the restaurant, 3 men.
They overcome Joey going back into the building and went in with him and took everybody under control.
Also among the employees inside, Lana Maxwell's 20-year-old husband, David, and Maxwell and Johnson's friend and fraternity brother, 19-year-old Monty Landers, who were just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
And in fact, I was going to go with him. We get to the stoplight right in front of Gibson's, and he said, "I got to take you home because 3 people can't ride on the bike."
He only came to help Joey get through so he could, because their cleanup was the lengthiest. And he just wanted to help Joey so they could hurry up and get to the party.
What they would face next was not a party. It was a nightmare. And nearly 12 hours would pass before Rusk County investigator William Brown would get a phone call letting him know that bodies were found in the field that I'm standing in.
I did not know that anybody had been kidnapped from Kilgore or anywhere else at that time.
Meanwhile, Pirtle was processing the Kilgore kitchen crime scene.
We got the call about a few minutes after 10 a.m. that the body's been recovered. They were taken 14.2 miles south of Kilgore on an oil lease out off the Overton Highway.
You have 4 people there side by side, and those 4 all had their head down on their arm, where if you were to lie down in the grass or in the dirt or something, expecting to get back up, you would put your head on your arm or your hand to keep your face from being in contact with the ground.
Whenever I was walking down the lane to where the victims were, I always anticipated the worst, okay? At every homicide scene that I ever go on. And I'd worked several of them. But I never anticipated seeing 5 victims like that.
None of the 5 of them thought they were going to die. They went along like sheep, you know, to be left out in the country so that they wouldn't have access to a telephone or something like that. These people came up behind them and started blasting away and ended their lives on the spot.
I knew Joey through Overton School. He was quite an athlete, okay? I knew Mary Tyler from the business over there, but I knew David since he was just a young
Now that the 5 were found, Pirtle went back to KFC, hoping to retrace the tracks that might lead straight to the killers. But in 1983,
DNA, as we know it today, was still basically a theory.
fingerprint dusting revealed nothing, and all the would-be witnesses were murdered. But as autopsies were done, a new discovery.
When they unbuckled victim Joey Johnson's belt, a piece of fingernail fell out.
That was big.
The police department made a plea to the public.
We received probably 3,500 calls in the first week.
And one name kept popping up.
About a week later, Jim Earl Mankins was interviewed by Russ County and the Rangers, and he had a fingernail missing.
That rings a whole lot of bells at that time.
Mankins was later indicted and booked for the 5 killings as investigators gathered enough evidence for prosecutors to convince a jury he did it. But a striation test scratched Mankins' name off the list of potential killers.
The results was that it was not Jim Earl Mankins. The final result was.
I'll always remember sitting there and hearing that call when they said, yeah, guys, it's not his nail. And all of us just looking at each other.
That was our, the whole case was hung on that fingernail.
After serving 6 months behind bars, in an exclusive interview with KETK News, Mankins responded to the public's perception that having a congressman as a father cut him a deal with the law.
How you going to cover something up with FBI agents, with Texas Rangers, with highway patrolmen, then you got county law, then you got city law. I mean, that's a lot of cover. I mean, there's no way.
Unless you know some people up in high places, maybe?
No, I don't even think that would help.
Another dead end. And by now in the story, the series of events went unsolved for more than 2 decades. That was until 2005.
Today, a Russ County grand jury handed down 10 capital murder indictments, 5 each against Darnell Hartsfield and Romeo Pinkerton.
The evidence has always been there. It's been there all along. It's just been waiting for the science to catch up with it.
The answers surrounding the uncrackable cold case would ultimately be found right inside the restaurant. Trent Bennett, KETK News.
Tomorrow night on KETK News at 10, Trent is face-to-face with Romeo Pinkerton as he sits behind bars. It is his first ever TV interview. You'll hear his version of the events and why he claims he's innocent, and the possibility that the 3rd killer was never caught.